of Ash and Flo. This is Unbillable Hours, a podcast about professional services marketing. Stick around to listen to our insights, tips, and best practices to improve your firm's marketing and even your career.
Welcome, everybody, to this new episode of the Unbillable Hours podcast. With Ash and me here today are two guests at once, full house, so to speak. We invited Thomas Rohrbach, who is a managing director at NEONEX, which is a mid-sized consulting firm, I think it's fair to say, specializing in digital transformation primarily for industrial clients. Would that be correct? He can answer that in a bit, because his colleague Noah Haxel also with us, who leads marketing for the firm. Mr. Rohrbach, Mr. Haxel, is that a fair introduction, would you say? Did I get that correct?
Excellent, Florian. Thank you very much. Very pleased for your invitation to get here on your stage. Thank you for this opportunity talking about marketing and sales in consulting business. Very important topic. Right?
Yeah, and I think it's might be of interest for the listeners to hear how we met each other, because we didn't. I stumbled across NEONEX Marketing, which, I mean, that's already a job well done. And what I thought was very surprising is that you, on your website, have very, very precisely packaged solutions for very specific client needs. For some of those, you even quote pricing, and I think that's something I've tried to recommend to other consulting firms for a long while. No one ever seems to be doing it. So I was very surprised to find a firm in Germany actually doing this, and I immediately wanted to know more. But before we get to that part, maybe you can you talk a bit more about NEONEX and the type of work you do and for what kind of clients, for example?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much for this question. Yeah, actually, NEONEX has been founded 5 years ago as a corporate startup for digitalization, digital transformation within the Staufen Group. Staufen is a leading German-based consultancy for lean management. Okay. We developed ourselves according to plan. The initial mission has been completed, and we decided jointly end of last week that we now proceed in the market independently with strategic alliance, but not too much shareholder involvement. We are currently, or actually Stuttgart-based, 32 full-time employed consultants. We have an open book and integrated ecosystem with additional resources, which is important in this, let's say, broad field. We are focusing on supporting our clients to gain true industrial performance in operations. You are right. We are focusing on smart factory and connected supply chain. Focusing on industry only, located in Central Europe. Meanwhile, when we experience that Central Europe is not the most dynamic place on earth, we got many inquiries from a global base, from abroad, and then hence we are following also our clients. We are pretty much involved in international consulting business, China, America, Mexico, and here our consultants and ecosystem went and is going globally. This year, 2022, we are already in a new period. Will bring a couple of new interesting news for us or for our clients. It's the first year when we are acting as a management consultancy on our own, with a new logo, with a new slogan or adjusted slogan. Service-wise, we are working on solution on how to combine sustainability and true industrial performance. It's not only eco, it's really need to link to performance. And we'll also go on the market with our data-driven value stream design tool, Deep VSD, which helps a lot to, bring further this digital transformation for the industry. And we will also start to market some new interesting concepts on the supply chain analytics, mainly on the risk area. We are all facing currently the problem of lack of parts and strategic risks within the supply chain, and that's a quite interesting and important topic. that's what we are doing.
And can I ask, I don't know how to ask this, but if I go on your website and scroll down, like there's lots of logos from very well-known German industrial brands, other companies. Like you seem to be winning business in this area of expertise of yours against quite big competitors. Can I say it like this? This seems to be a market where you would go up against many of the well-known big brands, and still you seem to be quite successful in getting work. Like, is that a correct observation, or am I reading too much into this?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but actually we have a quite good hit rate. And one reason might be that all our consultants have a longer bulletproof track record in the area of digitalization. Even prior to the NEONEX Foundation, some were even involved in launching this German Industry 4.0 initiatives. So we have quite a long and experience and bulletproof track record on that. And meanwhile, I mean, that's also probably in the German market, we have a solid library of, let's say, digital use cases. Actually, I just count and end up with more than 100 digital industrial use cases, which have been implemented by us and by our consultants in the last 5 years. And that's pretty much interesting for our clients, that we bring the operational strategy, the digital strategy down to shop floor, floor to implementation. This resulting in practical experience and designing and also implementing. That's what our clients are highly appreciating.
So you have there seems to be a clear focus and operations topics, and then a depth of expertise, which I think that's probably...
Absolutely. I mean, we are much smaller, as you easily recognize, but sometimes, we need to be better. We must deliver better results than the bigger firms. And our strategy for this is focus. Focus on quality. Since we only offer what we can really overachieve. We are focusing on results. We are really refusing offers or projects which are not value-adding activities for us or for clients. Just to sit and bill and clock hours. That's not what we are doing. On speed. We are focusing on speed, since from our point of view, the change management, what is important while or during a digital transformation, will become harder and harder over time. So that's why we are fast and speedy. And the topic of data centricity, since this transparency based on big data is part of our DNA, and this sometimes lead to open big eyes, but in most cases will help to kick off and to run this transformation projects quite successful now.
So there seems to be a lot of focus and strategy. Like you seem to have your strategy in place, so to speak, on the business side. Can I ask, in a setting like that, what role does marketing play for your business development? And I don't mean this as a joke. There's lots of consulting firms where the partners, the owners say, we don't even need that much marketing because we have between all of us, we have a good network, our reputation is very strong already based on the work we do. So they say it's not that important. How would you say that for Neonax? Has Mr. Haxel a huge role to play, or is it just starting? So can you give an indication? I don't know.
Yeah, so we believe that as a management consultancy, you could do three things. You could either be big, well-known brand. I think we can count them, Big Four and so on. You can spend lots on advertising, which if you'd ask me, I'd love to do, but that's not possible all the time. And then the third thing you can do is to clearly position yourself. So have a crystal clear position. Let everyone know what you do exactly in detail. And as we don't have a big brand right now, we are only starting out on our own, and we don't have the budget for huge advertising spends. That's what we do.
Probably can I give one additional comment? Thank you, Noah. But for me, marketing means also brand development, and brand delivers a lot of trust in those busy time. So brand development for me also means trust development, and this is what brand delivers. And for sure, we all know that trust is the success factor for running consulting business. And from my experience, trust results out of two components or two aspects. For sure, knowledge, and second, experience. And if this is somehow in a good, let's say, mix and approach, we can develop something out of that. That's our concept and strategy. Because fortunately or unfortunately, I mean, we have to admit that consulting, we are data driven, but we have to admit consulting, it's still a people business. It will, get down, and that's what we are trying with this packaging, and that we have somehow standardized approaches, and we have all these new social selling activities. But the people and the direct relationship, especially when we come to bigger initiatives with top management involvement, this becomes really crucial. And the marketing helps to install this branding as base of this business platform for people, for our consultants, to get somehow independent from individual experts. And that's what normally a brand and consulting business tries to do, and we do.
That's a good point. Is there any other additional challenges or requirements now, that because you said you're now stepping out from under the umbrella of the bigger group, right? But will there be profound changes to the brand, or are you just sort of continuing on the trajectory you already were on?
No, we will continue. That's why it all remains. Even we are appointing even or our branding strategy is even getting more pointed and more focused, and that's what we do. That's what we did, and this is a continuous procedure and process. There's no bigger change. It is a continuous development. Okay. But for sure, as you said, as we were founded as a corporate startup, that means at the beginning, the purpose was to find a way how management consultancy can support producing companies in their digital transformation. That was a little bit the big role in the group. But you can imagine, as an expert-driven firm, we were quite good in developing existing leads to projects. Quite successful with that, because we were able to convince our clients, the leads, with our competencies and approach. That's all fine. Now, 5 years down the road, we are now independent, as you said. That's fine, and our own, and we need to learn how to master the early stages and step of a customer journey. This thing, what you can imagine, not easy for engineers and experts. And here we install programs to bring these important activities on our daily agenda. That's something what is quite successful. And so we bring in this little bit sales knowledge to our key people. And fortunately, I have to say that the learning curve is quite steep within our team. All smart guys, this helps usually. So that's
well, here's a bit of feedback for you if you want to hear it. I mean, you must clearly be doing something right, because I never heard of the firm, I'll admit, previously. And I found it, and I found the website by, I think the order of things were, I saw a news article, so PR clearly working somewhere. I'm going to say it was Consulting.de, a German trade press magazine for the consulting. I think it was there. I don't know. So I saw something there about your firm expanding its services or hiring someone, something like that. And then because I didn't know the name, I was like, okay, what's that firm? So I clicked, and then I was just captivated by the website. And I mean, I don't want to turn this into an infomercial, but if people want to visit the NEONEX website, it's really interesting how you don't even talk about Industry 4.0 in the headlines, but I think you position the firm as the experts for the smart factory. Am I repeating that correctly? I don't know. Like, I thought, wow, these guys really are doing something right in terms of the, like Mr. Haxel said, of the positioning and how sharp it is, even though clearly there's a lot of things going on underneath, right? The portfolio seems to be quite impressive.
And Flo, I think it's good to point out to the listeners the fact that, you know, when Thomas was mentioning about trust, the whole thing about trust is the relationship with the unknown. The only knowns are your people. So usually you're building your relationship, reputation management there and developing trust in your brand. And then once you have that trust in your brand, when you're doing all the media buy-in activities, it just expands the whole thing. And thereby, you're transferring your individual reputation and trust into your brand trust, and therefore strengthening the positioning overall.
Yeah, and I think it's already working. So the one thing I wanted to ask about, if I may, and you can say no to this, is this like a trade secret? But what's struck me as so impressive is, again, referencing the website, like right above, I think it's even above the fold on some screens, you list a couple of services, almost like a product company might have products, which I can click into. Like, let's say I want to do a readiness assessment for a certain digital factory capability, and you just offer it there, and I can click on it. And for some of those, I can see the prices. I can see, I don't know, this workshop or this sprint project is going to cost X. I hadn't seen that done before in the consulting world, especially not in Germany. So can I ask, is that an experiment just still running? Is that successful for you, or is it like what was the thinking behind it? Maybe you can talk about that a little bit.
Probably Noah can explain a little bit background, and then we can also make a intermediate evaluation.
Yeah, happy to do so. So maybe looking at the market for digital transformation consulting, but also digital transformations in general, I think many companies still don't understand what digitalization can do for them, and it's still like a big mist, and people don't know what to expect and how to tackle it. And frankly said, they become really unsure about it. And so we thought, okay, what can we do to make people understand, and maybe to even take away the fear they might have when thinking about digital transformations? And so we thought it would only be fair to show them what we can do, what they have to bring to the table, and what the result for them might be. And this is what we are planning to do or doing with our products.
I would 100% say it's the exact right strategic choice to make. So I was very impressed with it, but I don't know if you are happy with how it's working out. I don't know if you.
I mean, actually, one additional comment to what Noah just said. I mean, the digital transformation appears to a long, complex, expensive journey. Yeah? And for sure, we are pretty much involved in the big group companies' transformation journey. That's all fine. But we try to demystify, I mean, this kind of digital transformation for the smaller, medium enterprises. And we believe that if we have clear packaging, first step of the journey is a rather lower entry hurdle, that it may appeal. And that's why we developed this concept of, come on, we have different module and develop your journey according to your speed and to your requirements to, get in contact with the clients and their business leaders without clear idea. And actually, coming to your question, how it works out, yes, it works. It's not that, I mean, enthusiastic as we expected at the beginning. Marketing people are always enthusiastic, but we see the traffic. We can measure the duration people are remaining on the page, and we have all this fancy analytics behind. So that will help us a lot to understand also the clients and the segmentation. And we also gained a couple of, let's say, smaller projects out of those initiatives. So it's not a significant, huge amount of, let's say, part of our revenues, but it is growing, and we all know we are not here in I mean, it's a conservative.
You can still optimize, right? It's you just started, and I think to the point of the enthusiasm, like I really loved it when I saw it, but I would totally buy the argument that your prospects or the client side probably is not even used to buying consulting in this way. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not how I usually put consulting projects are born. Like, in some way or form, there might be. Usually, I there is, I do some sourcing or some RFP or whatever, then there's a pilot project, blah, blah. So the logical structure in and by itself is the same, but I'm not used to saying to someone telling me, oh, you could do this workshop, here's what we do with it, this is how long it takes, and this is what it costs. That's not on their website, without me having to talk to them. And so I would expect this to become more valuable to you over time, because buyers are clearly getting more used to this type of stuff. We had a conversation with someone else on this podcast a while ago who did a major survey about thought leadership consumption and buying habits. And they said that there was the Grissom. And they said of the 500 executives they interviewed, the senior executives, I think 1 in 5 was under 35, was between 30 and 35. I'm butchering the numbers, but the point being, the buyers get also younger. So I think you'll meet more and more people who actually appreciate this type of go-to-market over time. Yeah.
Sure. And I mean, this is how consulting works since 100 years. I mean, you get in your fancy car to the client, have a big meeting and write down a flip chart and start a woohoo show. And at the end, you offer a nice proposal, but that's, not very effective. And you need this kind of, let's say, interactive and comprehensive, let's say, project design for complex initiatives. Totally agree. But for many, let's say, other standardized project, we can shortcut it, and that's what we are trying to make also time-wise, cost-wise, getting a more effective consulting approach.
Yeah, I find that to be a perfect place to almost leave it. Ash, I don't know if you have any more questions left.
No, I think you actually, directed the conversation really well here. So
it was.
Yeah, I feel like, you've basically gone down the entire pipeline.
So slightly easier for me than you, because we did part of the prep in German. So just so that the listeners are clear. Final question, Mr. Haxel, Mr. Rohrbach. If people wanted to, we will link to your website in the show notes if people want to see it and check it out. I know Schaffen has an English website as well. Anything else you'd like to point people to, or something interesting you're working on? Let us know here.
This new website design, NEONEX, www.neonex.de. Here you can double check Noah's performance. Otherwise, we continue. We appreciate your feedback on that. Feel free, make any comments. It's easy to contact us. Feel free to get connected. I know Germans normally not very good networkers. We are a little bit exception, hopefully. So let's try to get connected and develop something which delivers more benefit to our clients. Would appreciate. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for your time, and that was a great insight into a firm that's actually innovating around these go-to-market questions. So, Mr. Rohrbach, Mr. Haxel, it's a pleasure to have you on. I wish you a happy Friday, good weekend eventually, and best of success with the continued spin-off, or whatever the right word is, from the departure from under the brand umbrella and setting out on your own. Good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Unbillable Hours. If you want more, tune in next week. You know where to find us.